Boy, I just feel like yelling. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I haven't yelled
Wolf
over
doesn't
the
even
last
need a
2
microphone.
weeks. I mean,
just put him in a room. My mic will probably pick up Wolf today. Okay, you're gonna want to yell because we're gonna flip over to basketball here. And okay, I'll give you the full disclosure of how I watched the Suns game last night, Wolf, and I don't recommend it. I sat there at 1 a.m. or whatever, wondering what I was doing with my life.
Okay.
They so the Cardinals were at home yesterday, the Suns were at home yesterday, and the Coyotes were at home yesterday.
You do that every night, don't you?
Yes, but now there was a basketball game that was making me wonder. So, watch the Cardinals game, obviously, get to the Coyotes game. Now, I was in this conundrum of, do I want to know what's going on with the Suns? I know I'm going to rewatch it when I get home because I can't watch it at the Coyotes. So I couldn't watch it live.
Yeah.
So I cut off all communication with anybody that might tell me.
Don't tell me.
Now, somebody ruined the score for me going into the fourth quarter. So I knew, so I still went home. I still watched it and everything after I did all the show notes and everything. I'm watching watched the whole game up to the fourth quarter. The Suns looked good. But I knew they were up by 13 going into the fourth quarter even before I started watching it. So I assumed I was going to be watching a win. And I didn't watch a win, Wolf. And everybody else was asleep by the time I really let that soak in. That was a brutal fourth quarter, and they've had quite a few brutal fourth quarters lately.
Man, it is amazing. It really is. Basinonians, when I go on vacation, I purposely unplug. I do it. Yes, I'll go ahead and I'll look on my phone and, did the Suns win? And I'll go ahead and look at the box scores from time to time. I'll do that. I'll look at the stats, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm not watching the games. I'm really trying to be there. I'm trying to be present with my family, right? So I'm unplugged for the most part. And that is by design. Just watching the game last night, it was the first time I actually sat down and watched the Suns play. Okay, where I wasn't following it on my phone, where I was actually watching them play. And I was blown away because there it was again. Defense in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter and defense. And losing the fourth quarter largely because of defense. Now I know they've played better. I know they had the 4-game win streak, right? Okay, oh my goodness. Can't wait to ask you about that, Luke. Because
it was a lot more fun than last night, I can tell you that.
Exactly. How did they actually win 4 in a row? And everybody was pretty excited about that right there. And yet at the same time, I watched a team that looked comfortable last night. Comfortable. And why not? Okay, I mean, they were actually They had won 5 of their last 6. They were trying to go 5-1 on this homestand.
Got the big 3 back.
Got the big 3
you felt
back.
Good about that.
They look good. They had a lead after the first quarter, base earnings. The Suns were leading 32-26. And then at the half, 63-58. And then, as Luke said, going into the fourth quarter, 97-86.
We should point out that Memphis didn't have Ja Morant for the game either, in case you weren't watching it. So that is something to just put out there. Not only did they have a huge lead going into the fourth quarter, Memphis didn't have their best player.
Yes, and to me, all of what I just said is adding up to they looked comfortable. Like, it all is well here. We all know what's going to happen. This is going to end in a Suns victory, and it didn't. They got outscored 35-18 in the fourth quarter. 35-18. That's hard, man.
I feel like they got beaten by Vince Williams Jr. last night, a player whose name I knew, but I've never seen him have a game like that where he was a plus 23 and put up 19 on the Suns of 6 of 11 shooting. You know that Desmond Bane's going to get his points. You know that JJJ is going to get his points. And you figure Marcus Smart's going to make some plays. And he did make a big one at the end with a big steal. Look, is it the end of the world that they lost the game? No. What are they, basically 2-2? They've basically played 4 games with the big 3. I'm not counting the one where Beal got hurt early. And they're 2-2 in those games. Too small of a sample size to read anything into it. But that like yesterday, just the progression of the day. I was able to rationalize the other losses. The Cardinals lose to the Seahawks. Okay, well, maybe in some weird way this is better for them down the line. Things are looking up. Ultimately the result didn't matter past yesterday. And then the Coyotes lose to Winnipeg. Well, okay, Winnipeg's the best team in the NHL. You're going to lose some games. And then the Suns lose that game. I was just like, no. This one shouldn't happen. You should have been able to beat Memphis. And I tell you, Wolf, They are. You can see signs. Like, I like the fourth quarter, spending most of it with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Yusuf Nurkic on the floor.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why Memphis was just able to score pretty much any time they needed points. They're like, okay, well, let's go get 2 points. And they could get it every time.
I know. For me, once again, think about the 14-1 run the Grizzlies went on to start that fourth quarter. I was
there goes
watching
your lead.
that. It was just, there it is, 14-1. Listen. You know how big I am on communication and being able to communicate and being able to walk up on other dudes inside the locker room and say, what are you doing? Many times walking up to a mirror and looking at yourself in the mirror saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Not, hey, how you doing? Not that. What are you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, right? I mean, you have to challenge yourself. And I have to tell you right now, Basinonians, if there's one thing that disappoints me, again, I am a Phoenix Suns guy. I absolutely love this team, especially because of Devin Booker and the way Devin Booker goes about his business. They need Devin Booker to go about his business in the smoldering kind of way that he needs to be in play. That's what they need him to do. And that starts with Book and then everybody else that he walks up on and says, what are you doing? You got to challenge. You know what I see? I have no idea if this is true, Basinonians. I have absolutely none. But I will tell you right now, if somebody asks me, you're on the outside of the locker room. You're not inside there, Ron. You don't know what's being said. You don't know what they're talking about. For me, the one thing that is missing from this team is somebody yelling at somebody else. And I'm wondering if that actually is happening or not. I don't know, but I see a team that is comfortable right now.
Did you – I can't remember all the games now. So you missed Booker yelling at Chimezie Metu in the game, and the mic's picking that up. Was that the Christmas game? I think that was against Dallas. So we haven't talked to you since then. I would have missed it. Yeah, no, I mean you could hear it on the TV broadcast. You could hear him. I'm sure,
and that's my expectation of him.
Well, I mean he's had a couple quotes in the last couple weeks of like, all right, it's time to pick it up. You can see out there. They still don't totally look like they're having fun, which is fine. They don't need to have fun, right? I mean, they just need to be a business-like approach. But there was a stretch there where they looked miserable out there, and I wouldn't say they look like that now. But Booker, I mean, look, you start to know the personalities of these guys. Like Bradley Beal looks like he's out there having fun playing basketball. Booker looks like he's not happy if they don't go 82-0, and I like that. But last night after the game, he had only 2 shots, I believe, in the fourth quarter. He was asked about that. He still finished as the team leader in points with 24. And we'll get back into this throughout the show because they play again tonight. But that was one that they kind of, it felt like they gave it away. If they don't allow a 14-1 run early in the fourth quarter, that's about the only way they could lose a game where they had an 11-point lead going into the fourth, is if Memphis went on a 14-1 run.
Yeah, once again, too, let me just say this quickly. There were 2 guys on the Suns roster that had a plus in the plus-minus. 2 guys. You had Devin Booker, who was plus 11, and you had Josh Okogie, who was plus 12. 2 guys. 2 guys that actually seemed to be playing defense, I might add.
No jaw on Memphis. I'll just keep throwing that out there.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.